So I'm just kind of here.
Oh, my.
Okay, we're going to call our meeting to order. Sorry for the delay, we had a little technical issue. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'll please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated by agenda item number 6. The board receives agenda item information and rationale for administrative recommendations for thorough review prior to each meeting. We will begin by recognizing the media. Teresa Carano is here from the Tribune News. Thanks for being here. Moving on to item 3.0, we need to approve the minutes for May 24th, 2021 and June 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes in the last 2 meetings.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 4.0, department reports. We'll begin, I don't think, is Michelle here? I don't see her. Brian Emmert is up from South Whitley Elementary. Thanks, Brian.
Just a couple of things. First of all, we have a handful of summer school students who are attending. We're going to wrap that up this Thursday. Is our last day. Caroline Crowe is teaching those students, and Brenda Smith is assisting them. Tomorrow and Wednesday, this group will be retaking the iRead 3 assessment. So I want to thank Mr. Klein here for getting us set up so we can still do that. And also, every morning I come in and I'm usually trying to be the first one there, but I am not, because we have a great group of custodians who are there. And since the close of school, they've been very busy cleaning the carpets, the floors, the furniture, the shelves, everything in sight. And I just want to say we're very fortunate to have a hardworking crews in all of our buildings. So thanks to our custodians. Thank you.
So we're going to move on to transportation and maintenance. Jim Bumbaugh.
Brian stole half my spiel here, so. But he is correct. We do have a lot of hardworking custodians, and they're doing a great job. Just a couple things on my update. The air purification system, that's still a go tomorrow to get the pre-orders done. Hopefully I'll be able to give you a completion date tomorrow sometime. This morning we had some trees and power issues. Kind of unusual to have buses on the road. Then we had some trees down here. Chad Doms, I want to give a shout out, taking care of some of that. So that's really all I have. So.
Thanks, Jim. Next we have Jake Everett from the high school, senior high school.
Good evening. Just wanted to touch on a few of the end of year things at the senior high school. So we concluded the last staff day. We hosted some activities for our staff. They enjoyed a lunch from El Mesquite down in North Manchester, as well as they could spin a prize wheel for some candy bars, mugs, flare pens, other prizes, and they also had a raffle. A couple of our staff were able to win $50 gift cards, $50 worth of Whitco gear from Mr. Mays, and also some Yeti cups and some other things. So just some exciting last day, exciting things to give our staff as they go into summer to recharge and refill their cups. Also had that graduation ceremony on June 4th. I got able to see all of our graduates walk across the field there and had a really good turnout, and just thank the whole community for coming out to to see our graduation ceremony. I'd like to personally thank Mrs. Dawn Henthorne and Mr. John Van Patten for their work and help in being senior class sponsors to get that organized and going. And then lastly, just curriculum work for teachers, June 2nd through 4th. They were working to create and refine their high priority standard sheets, instructional calendars, and assessments on their high priority standards. So a lot of good work, and some of the staff are still putting in those 2 extra days. Some have already completed them, and some are still going to get those done in July. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't see Julia, so we will move on to Joe Luce from Whitko Career Academy. Take your time.
I just had knee surgery last week, so I'm recovering slowly. Thanks for having me this evening. Just a couple things. One is our school year wrapped up, and just a great accomplishment to finish our first year. We're looking forward to enhancing our programs and our student opportunities for the second year, but it was a good start. I appreciate everybody's support, and that's students, parents, our board, our community. It was a very exciting year, and lots we got done, so we're just looking for an exciting second year. One of the things that we do at the Career Academy is we look at job placement. We want kids to have an opportunity to step into the workforce, to have a good job. We're connecting businesses all the time. Just today we had Paragon in to visit with us. We've had multiple others this summer that have already visited with us, but one of the things is we don't have enough kids right now to fill those jobs, and so we started an adult job placement board on our website. One of the things that's been important for the Whitley County Foundation that kind of headed up, I think, a lot of the vision of what the Career Academy would look like was also touching on the corrections side of it with some individuals that might need some opportunities, as well as the adult education side. And so we're trying to take these jobs that we can't fill with students, and we're offering it to be a connection, the Career Academy being a connection for adults in our community also to get some of these jobs. So we just got that started, and we're excited about that part that we added to our website. Also, we had the Ffa State Convention that took place last week, and we have some things to recognize. Matt Dice gave me, and I'd followed it on our Facebook and on our Twitter and different stuff. But the first one is Brent Studebaker. He was named the State Star in Agriculture Placement. I asked Matt to define to me what that meant. I said, it looks great, sounds like it's really awesome. And he said, Joe, it's a big deal, it's a huge accomplishment. And Coach Patrick, you'll appreciate this. He said, in your world of basketball, he said, it's like making the Indiana All-Star team. He said, that's what this is lines up to be. And so I can resonate with that. I'm learning about ag. I do know about basketball in Indiana, and to be a member of that All-Star team is huge. And he said that's what this accomplishment for Brent was. And so quite an accomplishment. We also had Maggie Wolf, Katie Stump. There were reserve state champions in the plant science demonstration category. Lexi Funnel, Reese Bradford, 4th overall in the animal science demonstration. Katie Sharp made district officer team, and she'll be working in the historian office. Haley Arnold, Robert Wursler, Lexi Funnel, and Katie Sharp earned Hoosier farmer degrees, and so that's really exciting for them. And we had 17 different students that competed in the state finals this year. And then finally, I wanted to say, this is not only something for our students, but it's a huge congratulations to our families, to the ag department, and especially to Matt Dice, Kelly Sheese, and Heather Millett that really have done a fantastic job of moving that bar higher and higher each and every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have our Director of Alternative Programs, Chris Benedict.
Good evening. We're alternative school-wise. We're wrapping up our I Do 80 state reports. There's 3 different reports we need to sit in to make sure that we get our grant renewal for the following year and our funding from the state from that regard. Currently, we have 24 students that are enrolled in the alternative school for next year. A lot of those kids will be in an AM session, and then pair that up with a program here at the Career Academy, or they may be in a PM session and then an AM situation with the Career Academy. So we're looking forward to that opportunity next year to get those students enrolled in the alternative school and hopefully get their graduation requirements done. Apex, we currently have 47 students participating in the summer program for Apex, a number of different courses that those kids are taking. Our teachers did submit their Apex course outline to Mr. Everett for the alignment of the state standards. We'll get those put into place and make sure those are taken care of. And then from a scheduling standpoint, again, all the master schedule for the 21-22 school year is complete. It's in Power Scheduler. The student schedules for 21-22 school year is already complete and done, and we're also ready for that rollover to happen in July, hopefully. So that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you to the teachers and for you for the Apex work. It's appreciated. And we have our Director of Social and Emotional Learning, Kelly Goody.
Good evening. As the school year wrapped up, I wanted to thank our counselors and MHTs for recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month throughout the month of May in each of our buildings. Additionally, we talked several times throughout the year about our staff wellness, and that was definitely a priority and continues to be so. And to continue these efforts, we utilized our partnership with the Bowen Center to bring a 3-part workshop to our employees. Ted Westerhoff, who has a long-standing relationship with Whitko, presented 3 separate 60-minute workshops that focused on the difference between compassion fatigue and burnout, emotion regulation for staff, and the importance of self-care for all employees at Whitko. The workshops were recorded and shared out with staff so that all staff would be able to watch them at their convenience if they chose to. I just wanted to thank Ted, Jamie Davis, and the Bowen Center for providing these excellent workshops to our staff. Next, I wanted to share about the expansion of our Sources of Strength program that will occur next year. I shared back in January, we started the Sources of Strength program in grades 7 through 12 at the junior-senior high school. Sources of Strength was initially started as an upstream suicide prevention program, but has developed into so much more and is more involved. And the foundation of Sources of Strength focuses on providing information to students about strengths in their life so that when they experience a stressful situation, they have these variety of strengths that they can go to. Starting next school year, Sources of Strength will be brought to grades 3 through 6. The elementary program runs slightly differently than the 6 through 12 or the 7 through 12 program, and the lessons are more of a classroom lesson type program that our counselors will be providing, and done so in conjunction with their school counseling lessons that they already provide. And lastly, I just want to share that according to the Collaborative for Academic, Social and Emotional Learning, Social and Emotional Learning, or SEL, consists of several components. 2 of the major components are learning how to understand and manage emotions and feel and show empathy for others. Throughout this school year, which has been like any other, our teachers and staff not only role modeled these skills every single day, but they taught these to our students every day. Whitco will continue to move forward with social emotional learning this summer as a district-wide team has been formed to continue the work of integrating the social and emotional learning competencies from the Indiana Department of Education. I want to thank all of our staff for making it through an incredibly difficult year. Our teachers and staff showed up every day and made it a safe and exciting learning environment for each of our students.
Thank you. Next, we have our Technology Director, Jason Klein. Okay, thank you. Okay, and next up we have Mr. Tim Pavarnik, our superintendent's on board, only for a week so far, so he's sort of drinking from a fire hose, I think, but he's doing great so far.
Okay, thank you. So, board, on the report that you have in front of you for the fund report and so forth, I've been doing the best I can. Last week, met with our finance people to go through those. I think you have the information sent to you to look at. If you have any questions, anything particular, because I haven't had a chance to go through it in detail yet, please email me those. I'll be sure to get back to you promptly on that. And then on the director and principal reports, I just want to add to that. Was contacted by Mr. Bumball this morning, Jim, about the power outage at Pierceton, and I just want to do a shout out to the teachers there, because while I'm getting emails of other schools in the area are canceling their summer school programs because of power outage, our teachers at Pierceton are holding class. They had the computers charged. I went there. I wanted to see that and thank them and talk to them, and I did. Saw the students, saw a couple of the teachers in the classroom, and very proud and very impressed that our dedication is so strong that even a power outage doesn't stop us. Our students got their breakfast. They had their summer camp, as the teachers called it. The students we're having fun. So thank you very much to all of you at Pearston for thinking of our students first and continuing the whole class. That was very impressive and very honorable. Thank you, Madam President.
Thanks. Okay, next hold on. Okay, we're moving on to 6.0 public comment. Attendees must register their intention to participate in the public portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name, group affiliation. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration. The presiding officer may prohibit public comments which are frivolous, repetitive, or harassing, interrupt, warn, or terminate a person's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person behaves in a manner that is disruptive of the orderly conduct of the meeting. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of the disorderly person when that person's behavior interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. That's all from our bylaws. We have one public comment that I know of. So Frank Rhodes, if you'll come forward, please.
Good evening. I am a kind of a person that don't pay a lot of attention to hearsay, and yet there's been enough said that has come to my attention that I felt I'd like to ask a question, and I don't know where else to ask it but here. And I know that you as board members consider yourselves, and I believe you to be, professional individuals. And with that, I would ask, is it correct, am I being told correctly, that there are board member or members that are actually contacting staff members directly and speaking to them to a point that they are becoming discouraged and have, in some cases, resigned? I do not know if this is true or not. I'm simply asking you folks. I'm looking at you. Is this true? If this is, I would ask that you would cease and desist. Don't do that. I believe you're out of your place to contact teachers directly and interject instructions and various things. You should be running it through channels. And I believe that should it deteriorate our good leadership, then it really becomes an issue. So I'm concerned about the good staff that we have. I want to maintain that staff, and if something is happening that's causing this staff to become discouraged and lose interest and want to go somewhere else, please stop and think about it, and let's not do that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. We're moving on to item 7.0, consent agenda items. So everyone has probably reviewed those by now. We have items 7.1 through 7.4. Is there any motion to accept those, or are there questions?
I move that we accept consent agenda as written.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Is there any discussion? It's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda item 7.0. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Old business 8.0, there's none at this time. Moving on to 9.0, new business. We have a request for Mr. Benedict to take our basketball players to an overnight field trip June 25th to 27th at Indiana Wesleyan. I think this has been done before, right, Chris?
Not here, but it's
okay.
been done at previous schools I've been at, and just get board approval to his overnight trip. And he is taken care of by the players themselves, not at a cost for the corporation at all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept this request as written, please.
Any discussion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the permission for overnight or out-of-state field trip for Mr. Benedict's basketball team. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. 9.2, approval of new adult meal pricing. Mr. Pavarnik, this is set by the state, I'm assuming?
I'm sorry?
Is this set by the state?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's all set by the state guidelines.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the adult meal pricing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve new adult meal pricing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 9.3. This is a request for the continued agreement with the South Whitley Police Department for the school resource officer, Tim Clark. Officer Clark has done well with our corporation and represents us well. We request for the continuation of this contract for SRO services for our school. Do I have a motion?
I move that we continue the agreement with the South Whitley Police Department for our SRO officer.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote. All those in favor of continuing our agreement with the South Whitley Police Department for our school resource officer signify by voting aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And Mr. Pavarnik, 9.4, request to have the authority to close out the fiscal year 2021 by performing what is it Mr. Pavarnik needs, what you need to do?
Yes.
Okay, it says he, so I will replace that with Pavarnik. To do in order to complete and submit Form 9 as required by IDOE. Permissions requested to transfer appropriations to any funds during the year-end procedures at the end of fiscal year 2021, that's June 30th, 2021, that would end with a negative balance. Permission is also requested to create any new appropriation lines necessary to further define expenditures for all applicable funds. By creating such appropriation lines, it does not necessitate expenditure of more money than set out in the budget order as approved by the Department of Local Government Finance. Therefore, the Board authorizes the administration and corporation through its employees and or agents to make the necessary transfers of appropriation and creation of new appropriation lines to further define expenditures for all applicable funds and to close the fiscal year as necessary to complete the Form 9 correctly. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept this as written, giving Mr. Pavarnik the necessary means to do it as needed for the fiscal year 2021.
I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? It's been moved and seconded that we give Mr. Pavarnik the authority to close out the fiscal year 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.5, appointment to the South Whitley Community Public Library. We need to appoint a community member to the South Whitley Community Public Library Board. Elizabeth Bowers is interested in filling the request. The term is approved for July 5th through 2021 through July 5th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I move that we appoint Elizabeth Bowers to fulfill this appointment at South Whitley Community Public Library.
Is there any discussion? Oh, sorry.
On the community member, does that mean it could be anybody in the district, or are we asked to appoint somebody from like our school, like a school employee, or how do we fall into that? And I know you probably don't know the answer to that, so I didn't know if anybody here did or not. I don't have a problem with that, I was just curious, so I can ask later somebody if no one's...
I would assume it would be someone who is in South Whitley because they would have a library card at South Whitley, right?
Well, that's actually everywhere though, because we have them in Richland. We have library cards. We use the South Little Library.
But like Pearson, they have their own library.
their own,
So
yeah, but
I would
like-
assume it would have to be someone from
like
the
Middle
area that
Marlboro
is allowed to have a library card. And it has to be an employee of the school, correct? That's the way it reads. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, do I have a motion?
No, we did that.
Oh, we already did the motion. All those in favor of appointing Elizabeth Bowers to the South Whitley Community Public Library Board signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. 9.6, request for approval of the proposed award by Region 8 and Extended Area Schools Child Nutrition Group for a group buying organization, distributor, prime vendor contract. We have used them before. Do I have a motion to accept this?
I move that we accept this proposal as written with the Region 8 Extended Area Schools as far as our prime vendor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the proposal awarded by Region 8 an extended area school for Child Nutrition Group and a group buying organization as the distributor prime vendor contract. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on to 9.7, approval of mask optional policy for the 2021-22 school year. Do I have, okay, so this would mean that students and teachers, it is optional.
Unless legislation or unless an order came from the governor stating differently in Indiana, that we could follow with the lead of other public schools and go to a mask option for staff and students in the buildings.
Very good.
I move to make the mask optional unless we're directed otherwise by the state.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the mask optional policy for the 21-22 school year. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to 10.0, miscellaneous administrative items.
I have none at this time, Madam President.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then school board items, our upcoming meeting is July 19th here at the Career Academy. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to ask, can we go back to live streaming on Facebook as well as the YouTube? I've had several people ask me in the last couple of weeks. I don't know the reason, but I did contact the school, and it seems that when we were live streaming on Facebook, we've had between 40 and 70 viewers, but since we've moved to YouTube, we've had less than 10. It's 6 to 9, and then with views later, it's usually 300 to 400. So I don't have a problem with doing it on YouTube, but I didn't know if we could do it on both. There's some people that just don't do the YouTube, I guess, and would like to.
Well,
watch it
there
on
are also
Facebook.
people who don't do Facebook.
Right, so we could do
Right.
both.
So this is not an agenda item, so we will have to put it on the agenda for next meeting because we can't vote on any new items.
I guess I didn't think we
That
had to
are
vote
added.
on it. I didn't think we had to vote on it.
Oh.
So we can continue the live stream on YouTube as well, for those who don't have Facebook, and this would be a live stream on the Whitko Community Schools Facebook page.
Yeah, however we did it in the past. That's
I'm
what
not
they're asking
opposed,
for.
I'm not opposed to that, if you live stream it on there, as long as it's on our monitored Facebook page, Whitko Schools. But if you want to discuss it further for an agenda item, this certainly is up to you, but I'm not opposed to that. Putting it on to live stream it there. Would that be an issue? No, you can't hear, okay, never mind. I think, why don't we, how about I do a little research on that, and we can get back to you guys individually on that and find out what the parameters of that would be.
Okay, I think it's just flipping a switch, but sure.
Okay. Before we just say yes or no, let me look into it and see, talk with our tech people and our marketing guy and see what it would take to do that and how that would operate and so forth. And then we can circle back to that individually.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Beat you to it. Thank you. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, we are adjourned. Thank you to the community who are here.